So, we're currently heading towards the Salkantay Pass. So, we've got to get up there. We're at about 4,300 meters at the moment. A few of the guys have got horses, but the majority of our group are trekking it as they should, which is great. We've had a pretty good pace. We're covering distance pretty fast. The guide is pretty pleased with the group because we're making good headway. I've got coca leaves in my cheek, which provide a little bit of help for the altitude and a little bit of stimulus as well. And yeah, on the whole, feeling good. Really been enjoying it. I didn't think I'd enjoy trekking as much as I am. You know, it's hard work, but I think the walking that I have been doing over the last few months, even though obviously not at anything like the altitude or the distances, has certainly helped. Plus, obviously working out at the gym, plus breath work, plus a bit of everything. I think it's I'm glad to say I'm feeling the benefits of it, and it's making it not as hard as I know it would have been if I'd just done this straight off the bat. Months ago, I think I would have probably struggled with it. Also, this actually turned out pretty well. All the problems we've had with rearranging flights and getting stuck in Iquitos, because when I went to the ayahuasca retreat afterwards, we were meant to leave pretty much straight away. The day we came out the jungle, we were meant to fly out and head down to Cusco, and then within 2 days we were supposed to be doing this trek, and it was very, very frustrating at the time because we were missing out on other parts of the itinerary. Plus I had planned to coincide with my Argentine friend Nicolas, and we ended up missing him, and he did this whole trek on his own last week, and we've had to do it a week later without him. So initially I was pretty frustrated and lamenting what was going on, but the reality is it gave us more time in Cusco, and it let us do Rainbow Mountain before, which was at a higher altitude than this. So it really helped us to acclimatize and get ready for this trek. So we've come into it without any symptoms of altitude sickness, no real headaches, all the stomach problems and the lightheadedness we kind of had in the days before the trek when we first got up to Cusco. So it's really helped, and I would say to anybody that's going to do this, it's an amazing experience in nature. It's certainly pushes you a bit, which is great, because it clears your head and you just concentrate literally on putting one foot in the other and breathing. So there's nothing like that kind of embodiment and connection with yourself and connection with nature, which brings such an inner peace. It truly does. So I would thoroughly recommend doing it, but I would also thoroughly recommend preparing for it beforehand and arriving with at least 3 days 3 days prep to get ready for the altitude before embarking on the actual trek itself. We are doing the 4-day Salkantay trek, and but there's the classic Inca Trail as well, which is 4 days, and the Salkantay, I just butchered the name of that before, but the Salkantay trek is supposed to be done over 5 days. We're doing the shortened version just because we had other things we wanted to do on the itinerary, but the 5-day version, there's a part of me that regrets not taking the time out to do the extra day, because you get 2 extra nights in the mountains. Well, one of them is actually in jungle domes. The accommodation is amazing. On the Inca Trail you're camping, whereas on the Salkantay Trail you're in proper glamping in these glass domes. The sleep we had last night wasn't too bad considering how cold it was. We were fully wrapped up, but you're there, and when you do stir awake in the night, you can look up and you just see all the stars, which again is fantastic for the soul. So yeah, and there's other shelters and domes. There's a jungle dome. There's another kind of sky camp on, I think, the third day if you do the 5-day one. And tonight we've got, which is the second day, we've got Andes cabins. Not Andy as in my mate Andrew, but the Andes cabins, and they are owned by private families that live up here, and they're pretty comfy from what I hear. You've got warm showers and whatnot. So even though you're trekking a harder trek than the Inca Trail and you're at a higher elevation and going for longer, you do get the bonus of sleeping in nicer accommodation, and I would take that any day rather than a shorter, easier trek. I mean, I got a good night's sleep last night, and that has left me energized today. You know, you can't beat a good night's sleep. Even though we were up at 5, we were in bed by about 8, beneath the stars, so that's good. So all of this stuff, absolutely fantastic for mental health, for the soul. It's the perfect combo of doing the ayahuasca retreat and then this afterwards, because you get to reflect. I'm listening to an amazing audiobook at the moment called Recapture the Rapture by Jamie Wheel, and it's just all the elements of what I've been trying to do and working on coming together. You know, the breath work, meditation, the journaling, all those things I've talked about, as well as the exercise, the psychedelics, the connecting with nature, and even other things, you know, about how music and sex as well, how all these things can combine to give you a very, very fulfilling and balanced life, because they're all elements that, you know, we need. And if we get it right, in the right amounts with the right approach, it can certainly lead to a much better existence, that's for sure. And it also covers basically everything that's been going on, not just over the last, you know, 20, 30 years, but over the last 100 years and over, you know, the time of humanity, in terms of how everything has culminated into where we are now, with so many people struggling and disillusioned and basically losing their way and disconnected to themselves and to their true way, to their true embodiment, because obviously in the past people didn't have much choice but to have a purpose. Their purpose was just living and surviving, and they didn't have all the distractions that we have of modern life and all the comforts, and it's obviously very much sent a lot of people, left a lot of people disillusioned, a lot of people disconnected. So community, and that's one thing I felt, re-establishment with community on this trip, because I've met some wonderful people along the way, and I've really, really connected with them. And you just become open, really connecting, sense of connection with fellow humans and with nature, and, you know, a sense of genuine, you know, love. You don't have to reserve love just for, you know, that special person in your life or your family or a couple of close friends. You know, love is pretty universal, and if you're able to go with an open heart and you don't try and protect that, you know, that part of yourself too much, if you're open and you're able to you know, share affection and love, not necessarily in a sexual sense or anything like that, just in a open-hearted appreciation of each other and of nature. So anyway, on that note, on spreading the love, I spread the love to all of you guys, and I wish you a wonderful day. I've got another few hundred meters of altitude and a few kilometers and a few hours to climb. Today's trek is 10-hour trek, basically. I think it's 27 kilometers, something like that. There's our little mules coming by, doing their work. Anyway, Over and out. Love to all.